Welcome, everybody. Thank you for watching the L&C podcast. We're here with another episode. I say we, but Lorenzo sadly still is AFK. He's not here. He's got a life. What can I say? He's got things to do. I wish he had the capability to record these on his own so that he could have some where he's by himself and I'll have some where I'm by myself, and we can, kind of split the difference. It feels one-sided that I have to do these solo, but they're never solo. I'm never alone when I do a recording because I always have a fantastic comedian guest with me who I'm excited to introduce. But before I do that, please subscribe. Please, I feel like I have to beg at the start of every episode on my hands and knees. Just I don't know what to do. I don't know what else to say. Do I need to start an OnlyFans? Do I need to have some kind of incentive for the subscriptions? Is there something I can do to make it happen? I just because I don't feel like it takes a lot of effort. I think you just you kind of slide the mouse over or your thumb. Who am I kidding? Nobody's on their computer anymore on YouTube. But just it's a slight movement of the thumb. Subscribe, like, follow us on Apple and Spotify. I see you with the like. No, seriously, subscribe because we are going to be having a lot of episodes uploaded this week. I'm sure you've already seen it, and there's only more to come. So when you subscribe, you get notified. And that's my pitch. I have this last episode we had Aaron Coyne on, who another remarkable,
awesome
comedian. But I'm really super excited to be talking to Miss Monica Daly. Oh my gosh, I'm starstruck. How are you?
I am good. This is a great part of my day. So yeah, I'm really excited to talk to you too, Kristen. Such a good comic. You're so funny. Yeah. It's just, I'm really happy to be part of this. No, good looking, just a nice human being. Yes, that's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie. You have the most amazing thighs in the history of the planet.
Well, that's the metric for good looks.
Yeah,
I have.
It is. I gotta tell you, I like what I like. But yeah, no, you're just a really wonderful part of the community. Like, you're definitely one of the people that sort of adds value to what we do as comics.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
That means a lot coming from a pillar of the community. You're really somebody who you see. Look, you can't take a compliment. This is a running theme with comedians that they can't, for whatever the reason, they just cannot accept the fact that they are meaningful and good at what they do. But I mean, you're a mentor in our Northern Virginia, DMV scene, and that really means the world to me to hear you say those things about me. So I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
What?
Yeah, well,
No, go ahead.
No. I want the question, or I'll ramble.
I just wanted to ask, what got you into this? What got you into performing? And how long have you been doing stand-up for up to this point?
So about 9 years ago, I'm an Army veteran. And about 9 years ago, a friend of mine who was in the Air Force was coming back from deployment. And his girlfriend was also a veteran. And they saw a sign at a Starbucks, just pinned to the community board, that said, are you in the military? Are you a veteran? Would you like to learn to do comedy? Pull this tab, call us up. And that was with something called the Armed Services Arts Partnership. I'll call it ASAP for the rest of the time for short. And they said, oh my God, we should totally do this. He's so funny and we'll support him. And won't that be great? We'll just do the class together as a group. And I was like, oh yeah, no, absolutely. Let's rally behind our buddy. And then I got a call saying that I had gotten into this class, and I contacted them and said, this is great. I'll see you Saturday, right? We're all going to class. And they went, oh, we never applied.
Oh, I know how that goes.
and there had been some rigmarole with my application, so I didn't want to like backpedal out of the class. I was like, all right, well, I'll just go. It'll be terrifying. It'll be fine. And in large part, it was because while I am a veteran, I had a bunch of imposter syndrome about my service because I didn't do 20 years, so I didn't get out as a retiree, and I didn't see war, so I just felt some sort of way about taking up space in a veteran service organization, which
Really?
is all my own. Yeah, that's all my own garbage. Um, and so I walked in, and like one of the instructors had a dog because he got shot a bunch of times in the service, and his joke is he'd rather have better medical care, but the VA gave him this dog to take with him everywhere he goes. Right. But the class was made up of like Vietnam era veterans to the most recent, I just got out a week ago kind of veterans. And the program is great. It's workshopping for 7 weeks, and then you graduate with a 5-minute set at the DC Improv.
And that's the comedy boot camp.
And that's the comedy boot camp.
Cool.
Yeah. And so I took that, and I was on the stage at the Improv, and I went, oh yeah, I love this. This is the best thing ever. So not only did I now do a bunch of things with ASAP. I am on their alumni board, and I'm an instructor for comedy with them. And I helped open up the Indianapolis chapter for them. But I also started doing a bunch of comedy locally with regular comics and not just veterans. And that's a whole different group of people. I mean, that's because we come out of a very strong workshopping, positive, environment. And then you walk up to a strange comic at a mic and are like, do you have any notes? And they're like, what the hell is wrong with you? I don't even know if you're funny yet. Like, it's a weird world. And so, I love it. I'm Tom Sawyer's least intelligent friend when it comes to ASAP. I'm like, how many more fences do I have to paint? This sounds awesome. But sort of the same thing with comedy, right? Like, I love talking to comics. I love being out at a mic. And and it's interesting to watch because you and I have both seen this. I've seen so many comics start, and then realize in the course of a couple months, I am out a lot every night of the week.
Yep.
And I'm not funny. And like they get very confused. They get very confused when they bomb, and you're like, oh, but you're gonna do that. Like you're just gonna do that. Like you're not gonna like open up the packaging and be immediately like, I'm a stand-up comic and I'm gonna have a Netflix special and I'm gonna
you chip away at it over time. It's such a process of trial and error in real time. You're in the car on the way there thinking about it. You get there, you're waiting in line of a random order for your 3 to 5 minutes of here we go.
And it's work.
And it's work.
Like it's not it's work. I've got jokes that I still am trying to find the right word. Like it's funny, it still gets a laugh, but it's not fully cooked yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I remember one new comic saying to me, and in all earnest, like they weren't being a jerk about it, but they were like, I just want to ask you, I go to a lot of these open mics and I hear people say the same material over and over again. And shouldn't they be doing new material? And I'm like, that's not your business, right? Like it's theirs, but it's like open mics are the places where you should practice stuff over and over again. And they're like, well, when I've seen them at shows where people have paid for them, I recognize their jokes. And I'm like, yeah, that's not the time to do new material.
Not at all.
Like if people are paying you to perform, then you do the things that work.
Right.
Like, if you're a feature doing 20 minutes, or if you're headlining doing 40 minutes, and you're like, you know what, I'm going to try out like 2 short jokes
Mm-hmm.
in a sea of stuff that lands.
Yeah.
Cool. If you've got 5 minutes of material and you're doing a guest spot, you better do the best material you have, because you're getting paid. I don't care if you're getting chicken tenders and a beer. You know what I mean? Like if you're doing a show, you perform, and if you're doing an open mic, you practice. Like,
Mm-hmm.
no one would ever say, I don't know why LeBron just keeps doing layups over and over again. Like, I've seen him do a layup. Can he do something other than a
Right.
layup? Like, that's how he knows how to do them well.
You should be practicing at the open mics, whether it's something you're preparing for, which means practicing the stuff you're going to do at the show a lot of times.
Right.
And it is the place to try out new jokes. I have done what you've described. I've done a set on a showcase where I have a bunch of stuff prepared that I know will do well. And if I'm killing, I might slip in something that's half baked to see if is there something I can get from this audience that leads me to finishing this joke in the moment. So there's all types of different approaches. I'll tell you, the one wrong way to go about an open mic is to not have jokes and just to freewheel and go on a rant. That's probably the one thing you shouldn't be doing at the open mic.
I will say, one of the things that I love, and I've seen this specifically at a mic that Shevitz used to have, is that there would be some drunk person in the back, and if there was space, he'd be like, you know what? I will let you go up last. How about that? We'll let you go up towards the end, right? And no, I believe you. You're funny. And then that person would get up there on stage in a sea of people with a microphone and go, oh. I thought it was just magically gonna come to me. And he would let them sort of sit there in their uncomfortability of being like, okay, and are you good, man? Like, and I agree with him. It takes balls just to get up on the stage. And so you're like, okay, now you know what it was like to get on the stage. Now next time you come, have jokes.
Definitely.
Right? But yeah, I've watched so many people try to you cannot, like, this is something the Moth says for their storytellers, and it's something I've stolen and I say to my ASAP students. I don't think that you can tell a joke from your wound. Moth says you tell your stories from your scar, not your wound. Right? So if you just got divorced, or you just got fired, or any big thing just happened, and you try and make jokes about it at an open mic, and you're still angry or hurt or going through chaos, and you haven't written them down, you are just going to come off going, and another thing. And
absolutely, you're not nothing productive will come of it. It's just airing out drama. It's a therapy session, which therapy or comedy can feel therapeutic, and it is therapeutic in a lot of ways, but there's nothing productive about being messy in public for the sake of being messy.
And all of those things can be funny from your viewpoint once you have a space back to find a way to make it universal. Right? Like,
I'll tell you what's crazy is
divorce.
I just talked to Aaron on the last episode. It's if you watch that, or if you catch a clip of it.
I did not. I will watch it, but I didn't want to prep too hard.
It's not out when as we're recording now, but it will be when this is released. We talk about the same exact thing because she's going through a lot right now with her family, and I was talking about kind of the things that she jokes about and that we both joke about are personal. Like, we talk about our personalities and some of the bad things that happen in our lives, like how she seems to have been in 4 relationships with gay men at different times, and that's a trend. But we talked about, when does that become comfortable to write about? When do you decide it's okay to to make a joke about something that's deeply personal and hurtful, painful.
Yeah, I think it's and as comics we write, or we're taking voice notes all the time, or like I agree with. I think lots of people have said this. God forbid anybody see the voice notes on my phone.
Right.
They won't make sense, right? The concept of them won't make sense to anybody but a comic. And most of them are only half fragmented
Mm-hmm.
ideas. But yeah, I think sometimes when you're dealing with pain or trauma or any big emotion, the biggest problem is being able to be like, okay, if I look at it from a distance, how am I making this a universal truth, while at the same time telling the audience I'm sharing this unique example from my life,
Right.
right? And then making it funny and not a TED talk. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there are so many steps, and yeah, you just have to. If, um, I find the art of comedy, the craft of comedy, really interesting because it cannot happen in a vacuum,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, you and I both could write the funniest joke that we have ever laughed at in our entire lives. And it doesn't work unless you tell it to an audience and an audience laughs at the joke,
True.
right?
True.
Like, there's a lot of things I've written that I think are stupidly funny and that no one else thinks is funny
There's
but me.
the through line is the relatability factor. Is this
Right,
something that is going to land in net most cases? But
right.
what people get
Yeah, and
lost in, people get lost in the. We talked about this last time. Like the people who think I'm the funny guy at work, or I'm the cut up at the cookout with my family, and everybody says I should go do stand up. What they think is it's all just personality, or it's all just charisma, which is a large part of it, because you have to have the mannerisms, the timing, the comedic sensibility, but then you have to write. And part of writing and part of what makes people read your writing, or listen to your public speech, is if they know they can relate to it, or if they can take something from it and translate it into something meaningful for themselves. It can't just be the look at me. I'm
right, right. Well, and it's the reason why sometimes I get cranky with the difference between comics and performers,
mm,
right? Like, you can be a great performer on stage, you can be an over the top performer on stage. If you're not telling a joke, you're just, and people are just feeding off the energy. But at the end of the day, there wasn't there wasn't any jokes.
mm-hmm.
Then you're not a comic, right? Then you're just an entertainer and you're performing. But yeah, so there are a lot of people who um, who will say, "Well, I'm really funny with my friends. My friends think I'm hilarious." And I'm like, "Yes, but your friends know the backstory to if you
Yeah,
say blueberries, right? If you say
exactly,
blueberries and your
exactly.
friends go, 'Oh my god, blueberries,' and then they laugh, you have to be funny to strangers
Mm-hmm.
and make them feel like they're your friends." Um, and that is something that you learn how to do.
It's a different
Um,
language. It's different. We we were at the same open mic. You were a judge, and I got second place. So thank you for thinking I was funny that night. I appreciate it. But we saw what it looks like to see people who go up and they're the funny guy in their friend group, and they know what their friends will react to without any context or setup or general understanding of what's out of pocket for most people, or offensive to most
right.
people, or crass. uh, and that's what happens when you're in your own little bubble. You're in your own echo chamber, and you think you're the shit. You think that whatever you're going to get up there and say is infallible, and everybody else is the villain for not going along with it. Everybody else is your adversary.
Yeah.
But
Why don't you think it's funny? Why
exactly.
aren't you guys laughing? You guys should totally laugh. If you're not laughing, it's and sometimes it is the room, but you still have to learn how to manage that and do your set,
Right.
you know, and not yell at them. I remember one of the people, a person whose comedy I really like, also lost their cool with the room, and at some point told the room to screw off. They completely forgot that they did that, and so when they asked for notes, I'm like, "Do you remember when you told them to f off?"
Oh.
And he's like, "What?" Yeah, like I gotta tell you, as a judge, I just kind of go, "All right, dude. Like that's part of the stage presence of it all. There's so many balls to juggle
Yeah.
when you are the only one out there on that stage with like your words and your physicality, um, and your mannerisms to like be able to get yourself across and weave the emotions in so that you're like, oh, they're listening. 2 seconds from now, you guys are going to laugh really hard, and I know that. You don't know that yet. Yeah, I love it. I just love it. I love it way more than dating. So
we can talk about dating too, if that's been on your mind lately. I'd love to open that up.
I've had a number of comics go, Monica, but you really should if you thought about blah 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 blah. Listen, comics we're out. Like I think there's a reason why you see a lot of celebrity comics being married to high-end chefs because we're kind of playing at the same hours, right? If I said to another grown-up, hey, I'm going to be out 4 or 5 nights a week. I'm going to get home at midnight. I'm going to crash. I'm going to get up. I'm going to go to work. I'm going to start that process over again. There isn't a lot of flexibility to have a shared experience.
Yeah, it's tough.
Right. And I don't want to date one of you. So
you don't want to date a comedian.
No, right? Like
is
so
it a
far,
nightmare
that
to
hasn't.
you? Is that a non-starter?
It's not a non-starter. It's just that so many of the comics I know are 20 years younger than I am, and that part's I'm not like. If I could have birthed you, I think the age gap's too weird, right? Like
there's some well aged people in the scene, especially in our area. Stop laughing. He's snickered at that.
There are two. Anyway, and no, they're lovely people. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, I'd rather just go hang out, learn comedy from like comics who've been doing it, who I value, and watch comics who I love, and then also get the opportunity, like you said, to talk to younger comics who. And when I say younger, sometimes I just mean comics who haven't been doing it as long, right?
Greener.
So the newer comics, greener comics, exactly, who are not always willing to take a note yet. But eventually they'll be like, hey, do you have any advice? And I'll be like, yeah, I do. That one joke, you should strike it. Like if you say things like, I want to bomb the room, and then you get very into like, maybe you will just kill us all. You're not going to win an audience over with that.
You can't turn on them completely. You can never, no matter how painful it is to struggle on stage and to, especially when okay, this stuff has worked a lot of the time elsewhere. Something's happening in here. They're not with me. You can't ever think of, even if people are yelling epithets at you and telling you suck, you can't ever give into it and think that it's a battle, because it really isn't, and it never is, because anybody who's paid to see a show or goes to a show with the expectation to laugh is there to do just that. They're there to like you. They're there because they want to enjoy what you have to present. So the moment you let them in, the moment that you express that you understand the contract we've all made tonight,
right,
they're going to cut you some slack, and they are going to come around. So it's the comedian, whether it feels like it or not, it's so what's the word? It feels so backwards to think that the comedian would have all the power, all the leverage on stage because they're just one
Right.
person.
It's a dance of things. And and it's one of the things you learn when you're writing jokes. Like if you have something where they're gonna go, oh, you don't open with that. Put it in the middle.
Yeah.
Get them to like you. Like once they like you, then they're gonna be like, all right. But they're going to have a different reaction. You want to let them know from the beginning, this is going to be a good hang. Like, I will be fun to hang out with for the next 5 minutes, 20 minutes, 40 minutes. We are going to have a good time hanging out. And once they're like, oh, we are going to have a good time hanging out. Like I have an open I do every once in a while. Certainly if I'm later in the show, where I will say, God, I love how you guys laugh with your mouth. And then they all laugh back. And I'm like, look at that, like that sound, that I love that sound. And then I'll tell them, I'm like, you guys are way better than this group I performed for the other day who were like, like, you're very good.
Snapping. This isn't poetry night. I need a verbal response.
Exactly. And I'm like, I love that you guys are laughing. That's awesome. And so once I paid them a compliment and I've told them how to respond, right? So we've set some boundaries. Like, I like who you are. You guys have been doing great. You're way better than other people, which everybody wants to hear. And the proper response to what I'm going to do tonight is laughing. And I will appreciate you doing that. And that generally sets them into a good spot.
That's a good rule of thumb, because it's not, it's adjacent to a bomb line, right? It's a guiding hand, a subtle instruction, and that's way more tactful than what I do, which I think I did it during the contest. Is like one guy went, "Oh, that's funny. I like that one." I'd be like, and I turn to them and I go, "Well, I wish you'd laugh," and that normally prompts everybody around them to laugh.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, no, and I think I've had people say, I'm like, oh my God, the best way to do that?
Right.
Like, I was like, I can't see you. Like, I want to hear it. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I can't stand that. I always know when somebody says it out loud, when they express something's funny without laughing, that it's like, okay, I have a rebound here. I can, because it's so ridiculous to be at a show and say something's funny instead of laughing at it. I'm like, what's going through your head right now? Are you just analyzing me right now? Are you some kind of AI
I have processed it, and that was funny. That was good. Yeah, I went to the last 2 shows I've had. I had a show Thursday out in Columbia, and randomly somebody who I really enjoyed working with was going to be at the show. She doesn't follow, she's not on social media, but she goes to this restaurant a lot, saw the flyer, and decided to show up. I realized I couldn't look her in the eye. They had the lights up a little bit in the room. And I was like, oh, I had to like skip over her because she was so earnestly watching. She was like, oh, and I was like, oh, I cannot. That will pull me straight. That will pull me straight out of it. But I also, like, if they're just sitting there in the darkness, you're like, oh no, I'm going to need to, I know that there are 200 of you. I'm going to need you. It's sort of like when I teach and I tell the students, don't ask a question. It's not a dialogue, right? Like, I'm not a crowd work comic. Like if Winston Hodges is amazing, like anybody who's a crowd work comic, I love them so much because it's such a completely different skill set. And the minute you say, hey, how are you guys doing today? It allows at least one person to think that this is a dialogue.
Yeah.
Right. And then they're like, oh, I'm doing great. And you're like, oh, all right. Well, now I have to deal with you.
You open the floor for discussion, and
I open
you're ceding ground to the audience.
I'm like, if you want a response and say, hey, By show of applause, how many parents do we have in the audience? I'm like, don't say by a show of hands, or, because you can't see them,
Right.
right? But and don't say by woohoos, because then they get to use their mouths and then they might go, I've got 5, just by show of applause, who here's,
Yeah. Make some
impregnated another
noise
human.
if
Yeah.
dot dot dot. That makes perfect
Yeah.
sense. I feel like that's a bad habit that you pick up by doing open mics and by doing things where everything is completely lit and you have eyes on everybody, or the loud people at the bar are there and you're just interacting with them, whether you have a choice or not, but it's so good. What you're saying is so good for preparing for what will eventually happen is, you're in a club or you're in a venue that has the appropriate lighting or the appropriate atmosphere for a comedy show, or what a
Right.
comedy show should be, not, playing a
Yeah. I mean,
brewery.
well, and it's one of those things, like when you start, do I have one? I do. Like when you start doing comedy, you don't realize that you need to put the mic here,
There we go.
right?
Props.
Like the mic has to be like on your chin, because most mics are garbage. I mean, it's not a question of the producers we know. It's just that people think that they can just use the mic like this far away from their body and over here from their body, and
Yeah.
and you're going to lose the sound. So yeah, I think with new comics, like my first things are usually like, hey, you need to move the mic stand out of your way, and then you need to not play with it the whole show. Um, like put your skinny little friend behind you, and then learn. I mean, there are all these things. I think people think comedy is just getting up there and telling a joke, but you have to like know how to pull the thing out, and how to use the mic, and then how to bring the stand back and put it back in, and like shake hands with the host when you're getting off stage.
You're
and
taking command when the host gives the mic over to you. You're assuming command over the show. It's like
right.
It's like a pass or a handoff. And
Right.
the show is a relay race. You really have to maintain that authority the whole time. I think those are all things that I got very soon. Pretty early on, I understood what it meant to have stage presence. For me, what continues to be tough is the joke writing aspect of comedy. Is okay, let's sit down, I have a funny idea, how can I set up punchline, boom, we're done with it, move on. I feel like I always have to find a joke by telling a long-winded story, or I have trouble trimming the fat and getting to the point. So I want to know, what's your advice, or what tricks do you use to write jokes effectively, and how long does it take you normally?
I will write a joke all the way out, sort of in that whole paragraph form of point A to point Z. And then I will go back in and be like, okay, clearly, like, this is the premise. Like, my instructor used to say to us all the time, oh, it's a little wordy. and, uh, and that's in the back of my head a lot, because comedy can be, a lot of the times, the economy of words.
Yeah.
Right. So it's what words are needed, what words are powerful. Um, and then so then after I write the whole thing out, I'll go back and I will bullet it, like premise, setup, punchline. Um, and I'll see what extras need to be around there or what they don't. Like, for example, if it was a joke about my sister-in-law's best friend's husband's band, I would just say, this guy I know plays bass. Because nobody needs to know any of that. I mean, unless it comes up later in the joke.
Right.
All of that is information you now ask the audience to hold on to and wait to see if they need it, and then they don't need it. So that if that information isn't needed, then I would dump it.
That's a great way to look at it. Look at the almost reverse engineer it. So you've written everything out, then
right.
look at the ending. And if you get to the ending, you realize, okay, they didn't need all this filler information. They didn't need to know the specifics about who I'm talking about or where we were or what we were even doing. It's just a matter of this one object, actually. So that's actually, yeah, very, very useful.
And then sometimes it helps to, like, I think it really helps to tell it to another comic and be like, hey, can I go over this joke with you real quick?
Mm-hmm.
And then if they're like, cool, what was with the apple? And you're like, oh no, in my brain, I explained the apple completely.
Yeah.
And they're like, I didn't hear it at all. It made no sense. Which is why it really has to be something that is spoken out loud and performed. And, you know, I'm sure people have said to you, oh, you're a comic, tell me a joke. And you're like, all right, I will tell you not one of mine, because then you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're going to look at, especially at work. I've had people go, Monica, for the annual event, why don't you do 5 minutes up top? No, never doing that. Never doing that. Never doing that. Thank you so much. I'm like, they're like, do you not have anything clean? I'm like, I have a ton of stuff that is clean. I don't know that it's clean enough for work. I don't know if there's somebody in the back of the room who's going to be like, you know, I'm like, this is also, you're not paying me to do that.
True. That's a big factor, but there's a stigma. There's a stigma to being a clown, to being like a,
there's an expectation.
You have to put your neck out there. You have to really, I'm sure you have your work persona and then you have your comedy persona. So even if what you're saying isn't raunchy at face value, the way you contort yourself or the way you start to get casual with people on stage, I like to compartmentalize. So yeah, I'm not the comedian while I'm in my cubicle or talking to my boss. I'm the comedian after work at night when, like you said, I should be with my significant other and being maintaining emotional relationships. But
he's gaming, it's fine. That's different. He's having his own parasocial social relationships.
Right. That's
fine. Hi, StarCraft. Anyway, it is just weird sometimes when you tell people you're a comic and then they have all these expectations of, or my favorite is, I don't know if you got this. I got a lot of response from people that was like, okay, that's weird.
Yeah. It's like, I didn't see that from you. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Comedy, really? You don't.
And they're like, that's adorable. So do you just tell some jokes around? And I'm like, no, I get paid in 1099s and do my taxes like everybody else. And somebody once said to me, comedy, huh? And I'm like, yeah, turns out fucking hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh, and you're so humble. I think it's a weird part of being the clown. Like, all of us are in many ways broken and unable to take a compliment. But you also have to have the ego to say, no, I am funny.
Yes.
I have proven that objectively, that I am funny and I am valued for my comedy. And yeah, I'm sorry that you can't see that. Also, no, I'm not going to perform at the HR meeting. Like, there are 1,000 reasons.
There's a balance. It's a balancing act of like you said, ego is an important factor, but it's just self-confidence is all you need. You don't need to go on an ego trip and think you're the shit all the time and brag to people. Most comedians I know are kind of embarrassed about what they do because most of the time late at night they're telling things to strangers that they wouldn't tell their closest relatives. You know, they're divulging a lot, or they're making light of things that
are heavy.
are
Yeah.
heavy. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's cool. It's a very rewarding outlet when you hit it right, when you've found the pocket for yourself. I think that it's the confidence though is what you need to continue doing it, or else you'll peter out. You'll start to feel like an imposter, like you were talking about with the military. You'll start to feel like somebody who doesn't belong in this, or your heart's no longer in it if you don't think you're good at it. So that's very important. Yeah, go ahead.
Right. No, but like also if you're all ego and no product,
No,
you will self-select out because you will watch a bunch of comics outperform you.
every time.
And then you'll be like,
time.
what am I, like your ego can't take that hit forever.
That's a different
when
monster,
you're like,
because then they're like, oh, these guys all suck. Comedy's trash. Let me take my talents elsewhere, which is like, okay,
you're like,
well, you go rampage
right.
somewhere else. Good riddance. But
and I'm in a comfortable position where comedy isn't paying my bills, right? Like I would love it if comedy was my full-time beast. And I could still pay for my medical and pay for towards my 401k and do all the stuff I need to do as a grown-up. At my age, like if I was 30 years younger, sure, maybe I'd just live in my car and do comedy forever. But I can see retirement not far away.
Mm-hmm.
And I want it to be okay there. But because of that, I have a really healthy opinion that comedy success is not a pie. Like I want to keep going towards bigger and better things, and I want to keep getting bigger and better jobs. But when other people I know are getting bigger and better jobs, I'm still excited for them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, because it's not a pie. Like you can't be angry that other people got that you think you deserve things.
Well, I don't know if you were
then work
expecting
towards them.
this, but now that, once this comes out and you get the LNC podcast bump, you're going to get at least 2 new followers on the platform of your choice.
I'm so excited.
Fans for life. I think that you're going places, Monica. I really do. So be on the lookout.
Joey Friedman was so mad at me. She opened up my Instagram and she was like, "You should have more followers than this. Why don't you have more followers?"
Like, and you should, because you're phenomenal. You're putting in the work. You're, again, almost a full decade of doing this, right? It shows. Mm-hmm. Every moment of it shows. That's what this takes. It takes reps. It takes commitment, and you are the embodiment of commitment. And it's paying off. Like what you're describing is nice. It's nice to know I can get a showcase on a weekend, or I can go judge this thing in this other state. That's something I was not, that wasn't even on my radar 4, 5, 6 years ago. That now is just, it's easy to take those things for granted, but there is just so much more in store for you. That's got to be so exciting to know and to see these things stack up after such a long time, after such a long commitment.
It is. I'm really, I'm incredibly grateful to the producers who call me up over and over again. I used to joke. I was like, well, I'm funny, and I always have, good transportation, which is also key to getting to everything you need to get to. But yeah, I am proud that they're like, hey, I've got a spot. Do you have the time? And now it's at the point where if they're like, hey, I have a corporate gig, like, great, I'll just burn a day of leave. Like, I don't need to go on vacation. I can just do comedy. That sounds like so much fun. Plus,
but it is, isn't it? I know you're being facetious, but it's cool to think that, yes, it is work, and yes, it is a little stressful having to put something together for this, that there's more on the line for, but it's exciting. It's like an adrenaline rush when you get the opportunity, and when you get there and crush and more things start to come in. It's like, okay, well, I don't mind. Yeah, I don't mind losing sleep over this for a day.
Exactly.
Or what was I going to do in Jamaica? Spend money.
I mean, like, comedy's the only time where I'm like, oh, I should probably like do my hair and makeup. Like,
Yeah.
what earrings am I wearing tonight? I don't care about that in my normal day. I'm never like, oh, let me press my hair for work. I'm like, I ran home tonight. It's like, okay, just need to get the hot thing down and do the stuff. But yeah, the other thing that comedy gives, and I don't know if this is true everywhere. And in Indy, I didn't have the chance in Indy to really build towards it, because when I got there, 3 months after landing in Indianapolis, we hit COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not Indiana believed COVID existed, but it did shut a bunch of things down. We have such a unique community out here, I think, where not only do I get to go do comedy, but I get to hang out with some of the greatest people. Like, the number of times we've all sort of wound up at the Whites doing stuff, or like Imka is throwing a Friendsgiving kind of deal, which is useful for all of us who don't have
And for the
family
listener, when she says the
Thanksgivings.
Whites, that's not some kind of clan meetup.
Oh,
That's
no,
a
I am
family of
sorry. That's a
comedians.
person.
Yeah.
I'm going to call them the Smiths from now on out. The Smiths.
No. I mean, I've mentioned Dwayne. That was my first open mic, and to go from just starting at the Electric Palm and to going to the organizer's house for like a Halloween get together or whatever the function is, that does speak volumes of our specific ecosystem, because I don't think you get that anywhere else. I think it no matter if it's DC, if it's Hanover, it's name the place in Maryland, if it's Anne Arundel County, nobody's hanging out, nobody's actually sharing ideas, and the rising tide mentality. I don't really see that anywhere else but Northern Virginia in our specific area here.
Yeah, and it's so great to get to talk to people about things like was very fortunate a couple years ago to get to perform on the Millennium Stage
at the Kennedy Center. Wow.
At the Kennedy Center.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember going backstage. I was like, I had a special shirt on. I was very happy with it. It was all shiny, and I had my stuff, and it was going to be televised. So all of my mom's girlfriends were watching it they figured out how to put the TV together to have everybody watch.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
And I grew up in this area, and I would go see people perform there. And I got into the wings, and I forgot my entire set. I was like, oh, this is good. This is good. I have no idea what my first line is.
Mm-hmm.
What's my first line? And eventually, you get yourself together before they call your name. But you realize everybody's going through that. Like, everybody's having a little panic. I don't know about you. Like, if I have friends who come to a show, I'm like, great, I'm not going to talk to you before the show.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to sit at your table. We're not going to have dinner.
And
if you see me talking,
express that. Yeah, like, I hope there's not going to be much time to hang out if you come to this, and I appreciate you being there. I need you to be there. It's a bringer, so please be there.
Yeah.
but I'm not going to get to talk to you or really eat with you until after, and I hope you're still awake by then. Yeah, I totally get that.
I'm like, you might see me talking to another comic and feeling at ease, but that's because they know, like, what's going through my brain.
Yeah.
I can't sit with you and be like, oh, so how was work going? Like, that. It's a totally different, it is a mind shift of like getting in game performance.
Mm-hmm. And you feel that at every level is what you're saying. You feel that matter.
I feel that at every level.
For celebrity on down, it's a universal fake it till you make it mentality. It's like, how did I get here?
Yeah.
how do I have this responsibility? How do I have this platform? How am I on this stage that I've seen so many awesome indie bands, orchestras, talented poets,
Like,
speakers,
what am I
and
doing?
I'm the
Like, yeah, it's
clown up here. I'm a comedian.
right. It's and from my own experience, like I started doing comedy in my 40s,
Mhm.
right? So I was a woman in her 40s. I'm a plus size woman. Uh, there were a bunch of things that I knew going in. Um, and in some spaces, that I'm an older white woman going into some spaces. And so I know what people immediately think is going to happen.
Mhm.
And for a large part, a lot of people were like, it's going to be Weight Watchers points in her cats. This is going to be lovely.
Wow.
And
Do
then
you get
it's
that a
not
lot?
that.
Seriously though, do you have that impression of yourself, or have people given you that impression?
People have come up to tell me that that was what they thought was going to happen.
Wow.
Um, and then I I tell them how much I like scrotums, and they get very confused.
Yeah.
And it's helpful because then they laugh harder because they're like, "What? Did
Yeah.
she just say scrotums and not balls?" Yes, it's a scrotum. Um,
I prefer
I love
coin
them so
purse.
much. For coin purse. Uh, uh, so yeah, no, and it works out in my favor because it's a brain switch that they're not prepared to make.
Mhm.
But I remember when I first started, I would have young women come up to me and say, I never thought women were very funny, but you were actually funny. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
under his eye. I don't know what you want me to
You ladies are
say.
doing a lot for female empowerment. You're not really helping the
I'm like,
cause.
actually funny will be the name of my first album.
Right.
Um,
That's so
like,
good.
but yeah,
She's
it's
actually funny.
it actually funny. I'm like, thanks. That's why they gave me the microphone.
Mhm.
I'm aware. But yeah, that is the other thing about comedy is if you're doing it right, you are in spaces with a ton of different people um, than what you're defined as, right? And it's one of the things I love about our comedy scene here. Um, and even in Indianapolis, it was great. It was the one place where like I saw the most diversity in a, in a space that I was in was when I
Mhm.
was doing comedy. Um, and and that also includes age. Like I can now I won't use it correctly, but I now know what 6'7" comes. Like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's uh
We're gonna bleep
there's a
that
bunch of
out.
stuff
That's
that
actually getting stuff from me.
but there's just a you know what I mean? There's a I think there's a lot of really interesting parts of the difference in our community that plays out. And the comics who only want to play to themselves work themselves out.
Yeah, they won't get very far. You have to have a broad brush with this.
Yeah.
Even if you're looking at somebody who's totally they have their lane, that's what they do. They've still figured out a way to make that relatable to massive swaths of people to get to where
Right.
they're at. That's just the nature of this. It's never gonna be uh, yeah, you can't be the guy screaming into the void expecting for everybody to get on board. It's you've got to cater to people, whether you like it or not. I wanted to
Yeah.
ask you if so the Kennedy Center is definitely a milestone. That had to be something
It was awesome.
that was really rewarding. What are some of the other rewarding experiences you've had up to this point that stood out to you?
Uh, I, I was in a contest for America's Funniest Military Veteran or spouse or military veteran or military spouse
Wow.
um, about a year or two back. And I won the event in Raleigh. And that was insane for me. And that was a level to go to compete for the finale.
Yeah.
Um, but it was still so amazing to do this performance in front of this huge theater of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew when I was done. Like it was one of those moments where you get off stage and you're like, oh, I nailed that.
That's in the
Okay, I
bag.
nailed it.
Right.
There were judges. I knew that I nailed it. I nailed my time. I nailed the light. I nailed the audience. I got, it was that was I really felt in the groove. And then um I got to compete for the finale in Vegas, and that was just fun. It was just fun to go fly out to Vegas. My best friend and her daughter came out um, to be in the audience, and my best friend, God love her, she is one of those people who nods until I started doing comedy, and I was like, oh yeah, I don't. You're gonna it. I don't, and it's just her own nature is
Uh-huh.
to be like a little more reserved.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm gonna need you to practice
Make some
laughing out
noise.
loud because like
Yeah.
I need the
Get
laugh.
that to
Um,
spread around.
yeah, and I think part of it too is the audiences here in this area is we're taught to like don't don't catch them, they're recording you,
Mm-hmm.
and so even at some concerts, you'll just hear people go, "This is great." You're like, "No, no, it's not.
We want to
That's not the way."
woo or
Yeah,
yeah, something.
something. Like we'll applaud. Well, it's something like the Birchmeier or when there's an older
Mm-hmm.
crowd, we'll all applaud after the song is over, and then we'll stop and we'll just wait for you
Yeah,
to
North
do the
Korea
next thing.
style.
Yes, it's
It's
pretty
always a
ridiculous.
vibe. It's always a very special
But
feeling.
I will tell you my this is gonna sound corny, but really one of my favorite things to do is graduate a new class. Um,
That's not corny at all.
because
It's because you're there at the outset of somebody's, whether they make it a career thing or a
right,
lifetime thing or not. That's an experience that they're going to take with them forever, because I'm sure a lot of those people don't have a background in performance of any kind. They don't have very many uh, opportunities to graduate or to put on a performance in front of their loved ones and in a an audience, and to get the feedback there in the moment too, that you helped coach, that you helped uh,
yeah,
prepare
and
for.
it's always in their own voice. Like there's a lot because you'll hear them like Hannah Williams,
Uh
who's a
huh.
comic in our area. Her father Russ is a comic in our area. They both came through ASAP in the same class, which
Oh
was
wow.
adorable. Yeah, and it's fun to watch people kind of because we make them do a minute is their first homework, and they're like, I wrote it, I don't know, and you're like, okay, but you can. They're all doing it from their own lives.
Hmm.
You can kind of see the premises happen. You just have to help them figure out how to do the punchline and convince them that it's okay to lie. You know what I mean? Like you can lie to make it a little funnier if you
Yeah.
want, or do whatever. Um, but they're so happy when they get off stage. They're all so excited, and I think part of it is we have a lot. I am pretty hermitish, like a hobbit when I'm home. There's a lot of things that we're willing to interact with on a screen, but
Hmm.
we don't have a lot of chances to play uh,
No.
as adults. And I really think, for I think this is the reason why pickleball is so popular, is that nobody gets to have recess anymore, and
Oh,
somehow
there's so
all
much we
these
have to
adults are
cut
like,
from this episode, Monica. I really.
oh, I won't say that. Okay, but you know what I mean. Like, but people don't get a chance
Yeah.
to play as
We're
adults, and
sensory beings. We need
we're sensory
to
beings.
be around each other, and there's no phenomenon like giving remarks and getting a
Right,
response,
right,
and be like,
and
okay, it
and
resonated, it
and
worked.
to something you wrote, like I wrote this,
Yeah, it's a full
I
circle
wrote this,
moment.
and I made them happy, and
Hmm.
and then we tape them so that it's on YouTube forever, which is something I've had to say to a few students, like, hey,
Yeah, make
so
sure that part where you said the
that
N
horrible
word.
joke. Oh no, we have a
You have
PG-13
guidelines.
requirement.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we have very strict guidelines. But I will use this as an example. We had a student who was playing to the class, right? Like he wasn't, and he was getting divorced and he had children and he called his ex an exopotamus in his act. And it made the 22-year-old boys in the class laugh and snicker,
Yeah.
right? And then I had to wait until he was finished talking. And you have to like, do the thing of like a compliment sandwich, of like, you did great work using the mic this time. I like the way, you made eye contact. Do you call your ex an exopotamus now
Yeah.
in spaces where she can hear you? No. Okay, well, we are going to film this and it'll live forever for the court system and your children to listen to it. So if you want to make these guys giggle in the moment, or if you want to elevate your joke, this is when you need to figure that out.
Yeah,
And
write
I
something
think
a little
they did it.
deeper, something a little more
Yeah,
nuanced than just a blanket insult. Yeah, it's
right. Like I'm divorced. I don't talk about my ex-husband or our divorce on stage, minus the fact that I like to say I used to put him in a kilt from November to April, because I like scrotums. And uh, not because he's a bad person and not because we had an acrimonious divorce, but because I don't want to give up any of my time to talk about something that's not actively part of my life.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, why would I give him stage time?
Yeah,
That seems weird.
it's a good rule of thumb. It's the same reason I don't talk about ex relationships or really relationships of any kind that I've had in my joke writing. Not because it's too raw or too personal, but just because it's like, do I really want to do that when there's so much else that's funnier to me to talk about than that. You can be that person who talks about their love life or their sex life, but I think that that's so much more limiting than talking about anything that's happening around you.
I will say maybe not my most recent, but this year was the first year that I headlined. And
oh wow, where was that at?
I featured. That was at the Electric Palm.
Okay.
That was earlier in the year, and I had featured a lot. I have a ton of different 20-minute sets, and I have a lot of material, but I hadn't sort of cracked the headlining section. And Dwayne and Imka asked me if I wanted to headline. Dwayne said, "How much time do you reasonably think you can do?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I've got the time." Because Dwayne's really straightforward, and we have a good relationship. To sort of, you never want a comic to say, "Oh, I have 10 minutes of material, but I could stretch it to 20,"
Yeah.
because everybody feels that stretch. Nobody's happy.
You want to talk about crowd work and filler material.
Hey,
who has a
don't
dog?
Forget to tip your wait staff.
Yeah,
how are you
let's
guys
keep
doing?
it up for the host.
Exactly. And I had a lot of people show up for that set. I put out a thing that said, all of you people, and I know you've probably gotten this, Christian, we've all gotten this. Oh, tell me when you're performing. I'd love to support you. Tell me when you're performing. I'm like, it's on every social media possible. I feel like I'm shouting it. Like if there's a show, I'll shout it up 3 or 4 different ways. I'm not going to reach out. There are very few people that I reach out to individually. And they are because they are older. And they're not online. Right. But if you are my age or younger, I'm like, follow the socials.
Just look at it. You'll see it. Pick the one you want to go to and then message me.
Right. And so I was very clear. I'm like, for everybody who said, "Oh, I would have loved to see you perform. I can't wait to see you perform." I'm like, this is the show. This is the show.
Right.
There will be more shows like this. I will headline again.
But I need you for this one.
But this is the one where I'm like, where I really remember everybody who came out for that night. You know what I mean? That was, that was really special, and it was good, and the whole thing was good, which it was a great night. Um, and Joey Friedman was on the bill, and Haywood Turnipseed Jr.
Hmm.
was on the bill, and then I was headlining, and that was the other thing was I just wanted to make all the comics who were before me go, yeah, you did it. Like I didn't want them to a single one of them to be like, I could have done that. You know what I mean? Like they're
But you
all
can't think
headliners,
like
and
that. You can't think.
no, no,
And
no, no, no.
while they are, yeah. I mean, the people you
Right,
mentioned,
like
I pulled up the
they're all
ASAP.
headliners.
I pulled up the ASAP website when you were talking about it, and Haywood's
Yeah,
picture was up there. I mean, he's a big
yeah, yeah,
dude. So I know
yeah.
what you're describing, but you know that,
Because I wanted them to feel proud
yeah,
of me closing the room. Do you know what I mean? I wanted them
yeah,
to
yeah.
feel
But you know
good
that you deserve
about.
to be there. And I want to say this too. I'm pretty sure when I was producing in DC with M. Fisk that I brought you out to headline a thing. Were you not the headliner for that? Not that it, not that it's the
Oh,
same thing as doing it in the area where you have people who
no,
can
no.
come out.
So here's no, because I
Oh,
think Ramin
it
ended
was
that night.
Romaine.
But yeah,
Okay, all
but
right.
yeah.
That's
Um,
that's my fault. I
which is
think you
not.
were the feature
No,
for
no,
that
that's no
too.
slack. There's no slack. There, I was a feature for that. Um, and Ramin's amazing.
Well,
He's
I want you to
yeah.
headline everything I do ever. So I mean, if that's something you're interested in, if you have like
Oh yeah,
30 minutes in the back
yeah.
pocket at all
In the
times.
back, yeah, yeah. I mean, and that's the other thing too is that it's like I don't do crowd work, but like I'm a good host, right?
Uh-huh.
And I'm a good comic in all the little comic spots. And then there are other like Isaac is an amazing host.
Hmm.
Like Isaac Ignacio knocks it out of the park. He's got a great way of managing a room, and those are all just skill sets that you wind up learning how to
When I
maneuver and practice.
got into this, it was because I took a class from Jessica Curson at the DC Improv. I didn't go
Mhm.
through the ASAP program, although I
But it
think
was a similar kind of program, right?
it
Like you
wasn't even
guys
a
worked.
program. It was the night I was going to go see her perform. She put out a little Q&A beforehand the same day in the room, so I went and got a ticket to that as well. And part of it, and it was just that it was a seminar and then a Q&A after. And one of the big takeaways during the seminar was how she talked about being uh, first of all, making your own work, how that's so important to succeed in this is to find opportunities to make your own shows, to make your own spots, even if you're not performing, that you are around, you're present, you're there. And how hosting is a big part of that, and how hosting, emceeing, whatever you call it,
Mhm.
is an important tool to because nobody really ever wants to or has the time to be at the show all night and introduce everybody and go up in between everybody and keep the show moving,
Keep the energy.
keep the energy exactly. But she said this, she capped it off. She said, "You don't want to be trapped as the host, or you don't want to be
Mhm.
pigeonholed as the host. Right? Here's the person I call the host. You have to know when to dismount and ask for more, and take the step to become the feature or the headliner." Because she described doing exclusively hosting gigs for a decade or whatever it was, and and it
Because they're
becomes
like, we can
draining.
count on her to do a great host. And you're like,
Yeah.
yeah, but also I can do the following things.
Hmm.
Uh, um, but yeah, I totally agree. There, you have to advocate for yourself. And when new comics show up, they're like, what should I do? I tell them, I was like, don't do what I do. Like, you should produce. Like, find a room, make an open mic, run an open mic. If you like, especially if you live, like sometimes I'll get students online and they'll live out in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing. I'm like, then create it. I
Right.
said, I have the luxury where I don't have to. And it seems exhausting to wrangle the cats like trying to herd
Oh
cats
yeah.
with the comics. I'm like, oh no, no, I'm
Oh
good.
yeah.
But make your own space. But also, if you're in a space that has comedy, go to the shows that you're not on. Introduce yourself to the producer. You know, show up and show that you're actively a student of comedy
Hmm.
and not just um, only available when they ask you, but that you're, actually inquisitive about their rooms and about their comics and about how things get run. Show up to see how that works.
That's by
And
far that there's a direct correlation between um, getting booked
mhm,
and showing up. It's being in the room. It's the producers putting eyes on you. It's people knowing your name when you walk in, whether that means you're super good at what you do or not. It's just the mere fact of being there sets you up for opportunities. That's why John Yeager will message me and ask if I want to do Taco Rock. That's why M messages me and asks if I want to go to Fat Pete's, or that's why it's because I know
yeah,
these people and
it's
I'm usually
relationship
there.
building,
It's networking. This is a big game of
right?
networking, and and that's tough for people who are antisocial. I'm very antisocial, just by nature. I'm the kind of guy who it's tough for me to approach people. I would much rather somebody approaches me and then we start the conversation, because I don't want to impose on anybody. But it's this has been 2.5 years of getting out of my comfort zone and reaching my hand out and saying, hey, I'm Christian, I'm also a comedian, I would love to do one of these sometime, or I'm running my own thing, I'd love to have you at this, or come do my podcast, etc. You don't know how much um, I was flop sweating in the car when I when I asked you to do this, and I was just like, oh my
Oh,
gosh, I
do
don't.
you honestly not know how much I like you? Like, do you honestly not know how much I like you?
I was just like,
I
oh,
like
this
you
is
even when you're not in the room. Like,
oh.
yeah, no, I only have positive things to say about you, Christian. Like, you are really a good person, and you're a funny comic. But
Thank
yeah,
you.
no, no. I don't mind being scary. I will say that I don't mind. Um, uh, the upside of not being 25
Uh huh.
is I don't worry. I don't have. I don't know if you have to cut this. I don't worry if the guys wonder if they want to fuck me. So I'm not like, oh, I don't want to upset them. Maybe I'll upset them. I don't, and I don't think, and that's to be clear, I don't think any of the women we know who are in that age group are doing that. I just know for me, it gave me some, like, it gave me some audacity just to be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, there's
You know,
a totally different dynamic just being a woman in this too. That
right,
you consider that
right,
will totally go over my head. I'm just a guy who's like, man, I don't want to be that annoying person who goes up to the to the showrunner and introduces myself. I would rather make an impression on them where they feel they need to seek me out, or they spot me
right.
across the room. They're like, hey, I saw you last week at the mic and you killed, you did great, are you interested, and then let it start. That used to be my approach, and it still is 70% of the time, but now I take that 30% of, okay, I'll initiate contact, or I'll put myself out there. That the whole
Yeah. And
aspect of people being into you and shit on top of that, that's got to be tricky to navigate.
I don't, that's the thing. I don't have to navigate that at
Mm-hmm.
all. So,
Well,
that's
I
what I'm
doubt
saying.
that. I
Like,
doubt it.
no,
Honestly,
no,
you're
I
very
don't have to
beautiful.
navigate that at all. But thank you so much. But like, it's one of the things that I know that if I was younger, that
Mm-hmm.
I know, like, I had to navigate in workplaces, that
Yeah.
as an extra layer of figuring out the communication, right? And now I don't have to worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if somebody's being a jerk, I can be like, oh yeah, I don't care, you're being a jerk, uh and I'm going to come off like they're very cross aunt, and they're like, oh. I'm sorry, I mean a nerd. Or they'll be mad. I don't care. At the end of the day, though, I don't. That doesn't bother me.
Yeah,
Um,
but you're an authority. I
but
mean, you have a lot of sway. You have a lot of I mean, when you say something, it matters to people. And if somebody doesn't know you, if it's like, if you're there the night of somebody's first attempt at stand up and you take it upon yourself to say something to them or give them some kind of unsolicited advice, they might walk away from that being like, oh, who's this bitch? You know, she doesn't
right. Well,
know
no, that's
shit.
why I'm always like, hey, are you like the new ones? Like, are you willing to take a note? You
Yeah.
know, like, um, just I'm going to be a very interesting kindergarten teacher right now. Are you willing to take like just a quick note?
But to
Don't be a dick.
anybody who's been around longer than a month knows
Yeah,
Monica Daly, or they know Dwayne White, or they know Dale Dunlap, or you
yeah.
name your people
Oh my God,
who are
you put me in the
working.
same space with Dale
Oh
Dunlap. I
yeah,
love her so
I mean
much.
you're both
Um,
remarkable.
she's so amazing. Um, I love that she has a bisexual boyfriend. He's so lovely and tall.
Yeah, Yusuf's
They're a great
awesome.
couple.
They're
Yusuf's the goal. Um,
great. That's his last name.
I know.
If you're lost, Yusuf Goal. That's awesome.
But yeah, it is. I can't say enough about the people that we surround ourselves with in comedy. Um, it's a great. I think it's a great place to be. I really enjoy it so much. I know I've kept you on here for like over an hour. I just like talking about it.
No,
Um,
we can wrap up here if you want. And I just want to know because I had planned to talk. I had all this K drama stuff pulled up that I'd love to talk
oh
about. I
yeah.
had all
Please ask me
this.
about K drama.
I don't
Uh,
know. I don't know
uh,
anything about it. I've seen Squid Game, and I'm sure that doesn't even qualify.
oh no, no, no. Well, see, I haven't seen Squid Game because I live alone, and anything scary uh, throws me off because there's
That's
not
not
another
scary.
human.
Is that
Is it?
scary for you? Does that qualify as
Well,
scary?
everybody said it was horror.
No, no.
Okay,
It's like a
okay,
dystopian world where so it's people competing. It's almost like Running Man if you've seen that, and they have the new movie out
oh,
now. Yeah,
okay,
it's just a
okay.
dystopian
I
game show type thing.
Okay, I thought it was like horror,
Oh
and I was
no,
like, no, no. If I go to bed, I want another person in the bed during horror, so there's a 50-50
you want
shot
at least
they'll
one
die.
scrotum in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
building
Well, at
when
least
you.
one scrotum. Even half a scrotum sounds great. Anyway, uh, no, my favorite K drama that I love that I tell everybody to start with is called Behind Your Touch,
Okay,
and and they're all very few of them have multi seasons, right? So Behind Your Touch is of this really nice vet who has to go home and work in this country veterinary practice. And
hmm
there's going to be a big special solar storm of stars that night. She has her hand on the hindquarters of a cow, and the stars go over and one kind of hits her, knocks her for a loop. And when she wakes up, if she touches anything's posterior, she can uh, she can see its past, right?
okay.
Like, so behind your touch, if she touches your behind, she can know things about you, right? And
That's
she finds that out. She
okay.
finds that out by putting her hand on like a poodle and then realizing the poodle is angry because something happened. She was like, oh, I think it just doesn't like the food. But
hmm
other people in this village uh, have had also unique things happen to them. And then she has to solve a murder. And then there's a hot soul detective who's, just like any of those, like even the British or
Yeah, small
Finnish,
town.
like, right. They're like, I got sent here from the big city and I'm just trying to find my way back to the big city and you're all awful. And she's like, okay. But he's gorgeous and she's hilarious and he's and then her best friend leads like a biker gang of cool Korean chicks to beat up guys when they do something wrong. It's an insane show.
Is it still running?
There are
It's a
so many.
Netflix thing.
It's a Netflix show, and it's dubbed or subbed, so it depends on how you want to hear things, or if you want to read things. And it is ridiculous. I mean, it is. You'll just be like, I don't. How?
Yeah.
Okay.
It sounds.
And then eventually, all the plots come back together.
Uh-huh.
And the last one I watched was, there's one on Netflix that just rolled out. It was like Your Wish Genie, or something Genie. And I started listening to a podcast
I
that
think it's just Genie Make a Wish. Is that the one?
Genie Make a Wish. Oh, there's a genie. There's the Angel of Death. They go to Dubai. She's our main female lead. Our main female romantic lead is a diagnosed psychopath.
Okay.
That the whole village has been trying to teach her how to regulate to be human. And there's a dog who asks to be a human, gets 3 wishes. It's so wonderful, because it's sort of like, okay, cool. You can't stay in your head with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's never, sometimes there's a very special episode where they talk about addiction or suicide, but they flash that up a lot. And the product placement in some of these things is crazy obvious. And so you're like, oh, let me guess. The product placement is so good in the Genie episode that I have now ordered this coffee thermos.
Oh, wow.
From Korea, that their version is that, like, their coffee company had made a special thermos that's in the movie. And I was like, oh, I bet there's no way they just made it. There has to be merch. And lo and behold, there's merch. And thank God for eBay now.
At least it's limited edition. I think that's excusable. There's some kind of resale value.
It's only excusable because I am only responsible for myself.
Yes.
Like,
there you go. Go off.
I am a child. I did go to a show this week where I met a comic who I had worked with before. He was lovely. And I realized when I went home, I was really eager to show him where St. Helena Island is. If you look it up on the internet, it's where Napoleon Bonaparte was exiled to. And I was like, I just want to show you where it is on the planet, because I thought he was exiled like next to France. And he's exiled like across from Angola.
Yeah.
And I don't understand how you're like, hey, we're going to take a boat here and dump you there with a bunch of your friends and some guards. Like, at that point, just kill the person. Like, why?
Yeah, it's a lot of time and energy spent transporting.
Right? Like, we're going to make a little colony just for you in the middle of nowhere
it's
that
like,
we're going to have to support.
Comic book logic, instead of just killing people, Batman is locking them up.
Yeah. So this is what happens in my brain when I'm just home alone by myself, is like K-drama and knitting and weird I'm like, oh, I should figure out that fact. But yeah, comedy is a great avenue to sort of express all of those things when you're like,
here we go, bring it all home. That's what that's called, as a callback, folks. Another expert
it up
comedy tip there.
But yeah, if you can cut the part where I talked about 25-year-old women, I'd really appreciate it, because I realized that that's just like my intake of how I would have acted at 25.
I think I was going to ask you, I have a bunch of questions and stuff that I've just been. You
can ask whatever you want. You've got me for ever long you want me.
I don't want to keep you tonight, but would you come back and do another episode and we can talk at length?
Oh my God, I absolutely would.
Thank you. And hopefully I'll have the apparatus where we could do this in person. I'm in Alexandria now, so I don't know how far that is from wherever you are.
I don't care. I'll drive anywhere. I'm in Tyson's.
Oh yeah, so very, very close by. So I think that we would get a lot more out of it too if we had an in-person element. But
And
this
by
is
then I'll have my coffee thing.
there. You can bring it. You can show everybody. We could watch clips from the show. It'd be a lot cooler if we could, if we can reference things and talk about them on screen. And I'll figure out the studio part. You've done in-person stuff before, so you know the difference. But this has been an invaluable episode for anybody who's interested in getting started, and especially if you're a woman, especially if you're somebody who doesn't have because you didn't have any background in entertainment or comedy before you took the course.
I didn't. I mean, I was another one of those people where I had a lot of people in my life go, yeah, that makes total sense. Like, you were always fun to hang out with. I'm like, yeah, it's not, I mean, it's helpful to be a pleasant person that can make people laugh, but it is different to pivot it to finding a way to tell stories in 45 seconds.
Yeah.
To make the joke. Right. So, and I will say the workshopping was so great. I don't know that I would have had strong enough understanding to then go do comedy on the economy, like outside of a veteran space. I think the first one I did was a show that Jaeger's not running anymore. And it was so weird to walk into all these comics who were not interested in talking to you. I didn't really care. I didn't know how to sign up on a list. So like I make sure all my students that they write the list when they come in. They sign up for the mic when they come in to do their homework. Sort of all of those little social cues to make things smoother in a comedy space. And then I got up and I performed, and the comics laughed, and they're like, "Oh, now we want to know what your name is."
Yep.
But having 6 weeks of workshopping allowed me to have strong enough material to feel comfortable to get started. I am always incredulous of the comics who are like, so I went to a mic and I climbed on board and I did jokes and they failed or they didn't fail. And I think that's outstanding.
You think without the structure that you had, the onboarding that you had, that it wouldn't have stuck for you, or you would have given up?
I don't think that I would have thought that's a great idea. Let's go do an open mic. Right.
Evidenced by how you didn't up to that point. You saw the thing, and you seem like a very structured person. You want some guidance, right? If you're getting into a new thing, if you're dipping your toe into something new, you're going to want somebody with some experience there. I can totally understand that.
Yeah, I wanted having the structure was really helpful so that I wouldn't just ramble, right? But yeah, I guess so this is going to be a weird thing to close on, but comedy helped me find a voice that allowed me to share more of what I wanted to share with people. And I don't know that I always felt like I had the space to do that in. I had an interview once about comedy from the military background, and he said, "Oh, I guess you've always been funny." And I said, "No, I learned that if I could make them laugh, I could make people listen to me, which is if I just said something straightforward to men, then I was being aggressive. But if I can make them laugh, then I could get them to pay attention." And so it was more of a learned skill set than it was a waka waka kind of thing. It was a behavior in order to get people to listen.
Yeah, it's a mechanism in life for everybody who uses a lot of it. A lot of times it's a defense mechanism. A lot of times it's like you said, it's about just getting your foot in the door. What sets you apart from other people? Oh, she's the funny one, or she's the one who's going to make everybody roll laughing at the water cooler, or in the break room. I think that but like you said, that's only a stepping stone. That's only one element, and then you take the public speaking aspect. You take the economy of words, you take the writing ability, all of it, and mash it up, and you're outstanding. Out comes Monica Daly.
Christian, I love you so much. That was very sweet.
I love you too. So we did what I wanted. Really, this was just for me. So again, thank you. I got all the tips and tricks here immortalized. That's what I love about doing these remote, in person. However we can do it, just getting it out there, stamping it on the internet, and then it's there. And whoever finds this, if you're starting out and you kind of want a casual crash course and how to do this thing, you have like an expert opinion. And you might not consider yourself an expert based on, whatever hangups you have in your mind about just being a human and, only doing it for 9 years, which that's what I'll leverage and say, that's why you're an expert. You're a decade of doing this means you're an expert at it, whether or not you're a big shot celebrity. That's just luck. The celebrity aspect is all luck. And being on the ground, putting in the reps, doing the work, teaching courses every weekend or every month, you're a big deal. You're a big shot. So I really appreciate you imparting all of this wisdom in an hour. I mean, where else are you going to get an hour of awesome tips and trade tricks on stand-up? You're not going to get that on Joe Rogan. You're going to get the ivermectin, whatever the hell's happening.
No. And that people is 100% of the reason why you need to like, share, subscribe, and follow to this podcast.
That's right.
And also go find me at Laugh Daily Comedy.
It's right here
Instagram.
On the screen. Instagram, Laugh Daily Comedy. Monica Daly, you can find her with the ASAP program. There's the contest we did. You were judging at Hog Shack with Black and White Comedy. That's Ace Jackson. And I mean, you're all over the place, all over the Northern Virginia area. And you said you were in Columbia recently, so that's Maryland. I mean, you're
I was in Columbia with Robert Mack recently, and then I had a show at a social club in DC last weekend.
There we go.
And that was a whole new world. That was special secret members club in DC, New York, Doha, London. I'm like, nice. Please fly me to let's go to Doha. That sounds I was like, my genie was just there. Anyway.
On the next episode we need to get into all of I want to learn about your quirks. I want to learn about the shows you're watching. You talk about the British stuff. I'm watching like Slow Horses with my boyfriend on Apple TV, or I just introduced him to Keeping Up Appearances. I love Hyacinth Bouquet. I'm a big fan of
Bouquet.
This. Yes. She just died in October.
I know. And I loved her when she was Hetty Winthrop.
Yep.
She played a detective. That is my goal. I would love to just have someone say, Monica, move to New Zealand and solve crime in a little cozy, all these little ladies who just get to go do that for 14 seasons. That sounds like the best thing ever. No. Yeah, we could totally quirk out. There's so many. I love the ability to find other worlds to go into.
So let's do that next time. Normally when Lorenzo's here at the end of the episode, we have Lorenzo give the audience some advice about anything pertaining to what we talked about on the episode. Would you be comfortable with imparting some final words of wisdom as we wrap things up here?
Sure. These are my words of wisdom. It doesn't matter whether or not you're doing comedy or stagecraft or any sort of craft. You have to just do it. You're gonna have days when you don't want to get up on stage. You're gonna have days when you don't want to write. Do it tired. Do it cranky. And when you are struggling, don't struggle in silence. Please, if you're struggling, If you're struggling to write a joke, if you're struggling with work, if you're struggling with the day, reach out to your community. And I will say our comedy community has some great people in it. So keep putting in the work, keep showing up for yourself, talk to yourself like a toddler, make yourself get up and stamp your feet all the way to the car on the way to the mic.
Show up.
And show up and be around people. The world is better with the jesters in it. And I am grateful to get to be one of them.
Absolutely. Any advice for people navigating the scene, for people who feel like they're still finding their footing? I mean, what would you tell somebody who's just starting out, other than show up, other than putting in the work?
One of the things I think is really important, and I think we see this with a lot of people, is you find a comedy buddy. Find someone who is either at your level or above your level. I think you should always have somebody who you're getting mentored by and somebody you're mentoring. That's super helpful. But at the very beginning, find somebody who wants to go to the mic with you. Find somebody who's going to want to sit at the table with you. Make an effort to have a friend that you can reach out to and talk to, because it really makes a difference, I think, for a lot of people when they're like, oh, so-and-so and I are going to go to the mic, or will I see you at the mic, or knowing that you have a place at the table with someone. But take a chance and say hello to people. And you'll find your space. If you're a smoker, trust me, they're outside. You can just
right now.
Right now, you can go right outside and find them. But I would think when you're starting out, watch all the comedy you can. Go to shows, go to local shows, not just on. And if you're trying to write, if you're trying to figure out how to write a joke, go to TikTok. Because TikToks are short enough that you usually can see one joke at a time. And so you can learn how to break down that joke from what's the premise, what's the setup, what's the punchline, rather than watching an hour's worth of comedy and trying to digest an hour's worth of material.
Look at somebody's reels or their stand-up condensed in the short form, because you're seeing the entire structure. So that's
right.
Really useful.
You can diagram the sentence if you're just dealing with one joke at a time. So if you're starting with comedy, watch all the comedy you can. I tell all the new people to buy Judy Carter's new comedy Bible. It's got a great structure. It's a wonderful resource to use. Rent it, borrow it from your local library if you don't have the cash for it. But I think one of the
question.
Right, yeah. But I would say the biggest thing is, like, find a way to have a friend in comedy, or start bring your partner over and over again. And then if your partner is more outgoing, they're going to introduce themselves to a comic. They're going to join your table, and then slowly your partner can leave the table. Yeah.
Like, he's got the
use your
gab,
extroverts,
and I'm attached at the hip. And use your extroverts to your disposal. That's awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, those are my rambling bits of advice. Is find a friend. It makes it easier, and then you can drive to like 6 mics in a night together, trying to mic hop. Everything's better together.
You'll make friends naturally just by doing it, and seeing the same people, seeing the same faces over and over. If you're doing it right, if you're making people laugh, you'll get approached, and you'll start to form bonds with people just by proximity.
Yeah.
Because especially in our area, you're gonna see the same people constantly, and that's what makes it so fun. It's almost like it's like a fraternity without the hazing, without all the do's and the hang-ups. It's just a bunch of people who all know each other, hanging out and striving toward a similar common goal.
Yeah, it's a great time. And I know that I need to spend more time in DC. I just need to drive in the opposite direction a couple times a week.
But hey, I mean, you're making it work where you are, and you've carved
Yeah, but
out.
it's always good to, like,
Branch out.
branch out, and also to be in a space where the room doesn't know you, right? Like, just to verify that you're funny in spaces that aren't already prepared to be like, oh, we know we're gonna laugh.
That is a good litmus test to know that you're not just smelling your own brand all the time.
Yeah. So and I'm super grateful anytime anytime a larger headliner is like, I'd like you to come and feature for me. I'm like, absolutely. Where do I need to be? How do I need to show up? And that's something I would say to new people is never lose that. Yeah. Say yes. And also be thankful. You know what I mean? Like I never take that. I never assume that that's going to happen. Like, you want to make sure to give everybody their flowers when those things happen.
Absolutely.
I'm never like, of course you're going to ask for me. I'm like, thank God. Thank you so much for it. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
have a little bit of imposter syndrome. And show some grace.
Yes.
Yeah, you need more followers, ma'am. I'm looking at this. Laugh Daily Comedy, one word, on Instagram. Please, please, please go follow Monica. She is delightful. You're going to love her. Go see her locally. You're all over the DMV. Go see an ASAP show, the Armed Services Arts Partnership Comedy Boot Camp. She is one of the drill instructors. Please go support that program as well. It's an amazing service that gets provided for free, right? It's totally free for veterans.
Yeah, it's totally for free. It's I will say the Comedy Boot Camp class is our largest legacy program, and certainly in this area, lots of people know about it. We've had a lot of comics come through and can then continue with it. But so we'll get like 200 applications. We have seats for 12 people. And they do a great job of sort of carving out. Somebody else handles how I'm going to get my students, but now we'll have 28 classes graduating at the same time, because we'll have people graduating at all the 6 hard locations. We'll have a couple full online classes going on at the same time. It's a really great benefit, and it's free to any military, active duty veteran, military family member, military caregiver, and like the Bob Hope Foundation is one of our supporters. Boeing is one of our supporters. So yeah, it's paid for, but it's free to the participant.
It's all funded, right, by donors.
Yeah, it's all funded by donors.
Bob and Dolores Hope Foundation, awesome.
Yeah. Yep.
Go to this website. Go to ASAP. What is it? asap.org.
Yep.
/ASAP.org. Here we go. Check it out. There's
I'll be teaching in the spring.
Okay.
Feel free to.
If you want, sign up. Try to plan that. Get Monica as a coach. How awesome would that be? I wish I had you as a coach starting out. I feel like I would have. I just would have skipped the line, essentially. I'm jealous of all these veterans who get to cut in line and learn this stuff.
And they get a 5-minute super clean film that's got a placard at the front and close out at the back, all with the DC Improv thing behind them.
Improv headshot thing or profile picture.
Yeah, I can't tell you the number of people who've gotten off stage and they're like, I'm going to quit my job. I'm like, you're not going to quit your job. This was the nicest audience you will have for like the next forever. Like this, you were funny. You are not quit your job.
But this is a disease,
funny.
Though. That's what I think. Once you get it, it's with you. You have that bug.
I think so too. Either you have it or you don't. And I've had a number of people do it as a bucket list, and they were really funny. And I wish they kept doing comedy, but it wasn't something that
they just check
they
it
felt
off
passionate about.
I'll never understand that. Yeah, even when I'm sucking, I'm like, I have to keep doing it. I don't know what.
Yeah.
How many times would it take for me to bomb in a row for me to give this up? I wouldn't subject myself.
I'd rather make $25 than go home.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
Let's go make people laugh in the dark and pay for gas.
Barely.
best. Yeah. It's so good. Yeah. It's the reason why I know I should never do heroin. I would like it way too much. So comedy is it for me. But yeah, I thank you, Christian, and I would love to do this in person.
Yes, and if we can't do it in person, we'll do it like this again. But I want to get into all the, like you said, we'll quirk it up. We'll quirk out.
Yay!
All right, everybody. Thank you for watching. Once again, Laugh Daily Comedy on Instagram. Go follow Monica. Follow me on Instagram at Balmerboy with a 0. And follow the podcast, Apple, Spotify, YouTube. That's where we are. That's where you can find us. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode. Bye.